Ricochet debuted in AEW and you'll never believe it, but he's already an afterthought. Despite all that talent and that bag being secured, Ricochet debuted in AEW the same way he left WWE, as a talented star who just couldn't break through for a big win. Unbelievable. Pretty Ricky left WWE to avoid this exact situation where he was trapped under a permanent glass ceiling for 5 years and knew he could do better. Everybody knew Ricochet was going to AEW. Tony Khan is addicted to free agency, regardless of how many misfit toys are already on his island. Given Ricochet's shortcomings in WWE, where he was seen by many as underutilized, his AEW debut was pivotal in changing the way fans see him. It's more likely than not Tony Khan paid a main event salary for Pretty Ricky, only for Ricochet to make a mid-card debut. Subscribe in Swahili. Ricochet's debut should have been all about Trevor. He should have had the sole spotlight all to himself and done something big to establish Ricochet as a top guy, not to be fucked with. He did the Attack on Titan salute, which was cute, but Ricochet should have debuted like Dina Fritz swallowing Eren Yeager's mama whole. But instead of being booked like a Titan, he was booked like one of the helpless humans running for their damn life. If you were frustrated with being lost in the shuffle in WWE and you sought greener grass in Jacksonville to show up, show out, and stand out, tell me if this pitch passes the smell test. Okay, Big Trev, here's the plan. We're gonna have a casino gauntlet at AEW All In. Orange Cassidy's gonna come out to a huge pop and everybody's gonna sing his song. Then, as a surprise, one of our biggest stars, Kazuchika Okada, is gonna show up unadvertised on our biggest show. People are gonna go crazy for Okada because it's a surprise. Then, stay with me here, then as an all-time surprise in one of the most emotional moments of the year in wrestling, Nigel McGuinness is gonna come out of retirement after 13 years and return to wrestling in his home country. Everybody's gonna be talking about it. Then, stay with me here, G1 winner and fellow hometown favorite Zack Sabre Jr. is gonna pull up. Top star Hangman Adam Page and WWE Hall of Famer Jeff Jarrett are also gonna get 2 gigantic pops. The crowd is gonna be going nuts for all these guys. And just as these big stars are filling up the ring, the Hangman starts strangling Jeff Jarrett's wife, causing Wembley Stadium to gasp. There's gonna be a weird energy in the building because of that spot, and the crowd's gonna be a little tired after all these spectacular returns, but at that point, it'll be your time to shine. From there, you'll get a nice pop, then we'll need you to do a couple of flips and then lay low for a while so Christian can win. Trust me, you'll be the most memorable guy in the match after that. Paul Levesque could never. Complete sabotage. Ricochet was perennially lost in the shuffle in WWE, only to debut to an AEW Casino Gauntlet where he literally dove into the shuffle, never to be seen again. Make it make sense. If you're familiar with Ricochet's plight in WWE, you saw a guy who everybody knew was good. So he debuted in AEW and lost in a match full of wrestlers who were just as over, if not more over than Ricochet. Like, how was he gonna shake the stench of close but no cigar by debuting in a gauntlet match and disappearing faster than Meltzer's tweets when he gets his story wrong? If you're not as familiar with Ricochet, you saw a new guy debut and get a pretty big pop. It probably piqued your interest, but then he disappeared after a quick flurry of offense, does not win the match, and you're left thinking, what's so special about that guy? Taz had kind of a throwaway line where he said, Ricochet will fit right in here in AEW. Exactly. That's the problem. You don't become a top star in a national wrestling company by fitting in. You do it by standing out. The Rock had way too much charisma to just fit in. Stone Cold Steve Austin drank way too many Steve Weisers to fit in. Will Ospreay has too many imprints of Dave Meltzer's lips on his ass to just fit in. Psycho Sid was way too much of a wild giant to fit in. If Ricochet's AEW debut was Attack on Titan Towers, he wouldn't be a Titan like Psycho Sid. He'd be one of the humans just trying to fit in so they wouldn't be noticed by monsters like Zeke the Beast Titan and beaten half to death with a horse. Throw that pony. Yeet! To Taz's point, Ricochet is fitting in with AEW because, like Tony Khan, he's paying way too much attention to the critics and publicly sparring with them, as if that's gonna end criticism. As with everybody who isn't afraid of their boss in AEW, Ricochet's professionalism has gone right by the wayside because he's all over Twitter fighting with non-believers as we speak. as a believer in Ricochet, Ricky, I beg you to go touch grass. Respond to enough trolls with under 50 followers, and you'll turn into Dave Meltzer real quick. Going to AEW felt like the perfect choice for Ricochet because AEW is the place where all the fans want flops and flips. When I flip, you flip, we flip. Why aren't these fans copying our ticks? When I flip, you flip, we flip. And when it comes to flips, nobody's better than Ricochet. I'm not even saying that as a diss. Ricochet is a tremendous athlete who could easily be a top star in AEW under the right circumstances. Like Brock Purdy in San Francisco, where he's a good quarterback as long as all of his weapons are healthy so his training wheels don't fall off. Bet the Niners under 11.5 wins this season. AEW seems destined to go out of its way to put Ricochet under all the wrong circumstances. He didn't lay out a top AEW star or get a win over a top guy in his first AEW appearance. Instead, he was immediately established as one of 11 wrestlers who was outfoxed by Christian Cage. Ricochet's AEW Dynamite debut was a showcase match against Kyle Fletcher, whose job is to do jobs against everybody until his tag team partner comes back. How is beating Kyle Fletcher gonna make Ricochet any more special than he was when he was in WWE? You only get one chance to make a first impression, and AEW just blew both of Ricochet's first impressions on All In and Dynamite. Maybe on Collision he can get a win over Serpentico. By the way, this reaction is not premature. AEW lost the benefit of the doubt long ago when it came to free agents. For every one Swerve Strickland, there's like 5 Keith Lees. Ricochet debuted in the middle of the card, didn't get a win, he beat Kyle Fletcher, which, with all due respect, means nothing, and his ceiling is to do Cirque du Osprey? Listen, I get doing what makes you happy, but my guy, you were 6 months away from Netflix and you walked away for this? There's no shame in being a mid-carder on Netflix. Like, Ricochet could have been the Umbrella Academy of pro wrestling, but instead, he chose to be the Impractical Jokers. Get it how you live, I guess. Check out this video of me predicting Ricochet wouldn't be an AEW game changer, and subscribe. Will Ricochet make it to the top of AEW? Tell me in the comments.